Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Sorry, I got started a little bit late. I'm so happy to be here coming on live to answer your questions. I haven't been on for a while because so many things have been going on. And let me know if you can't see me or hear me or anything, let me know. I wanted to take this opportunity to just thank you guys for really supporting my channel and being here with me through the journey of my spiritual growth and expansion. And I think one of the things that I realize is that I actually learn more from you than I feel like you learn from me, because there's so many things that you say or respond that I haven't even thought of. And so I just want to thank you. Hi, DM. Oh my God, you've watched me since you were 18. So what does that mean? That you are now 28? I haven't been on YouTube for that long, but I've been on for a while. And I have to say that it's been an incredible journey doing this. And, I wake up every day and I pray, meditate, and ask God in the universe. I said, do you want me to continue to do this? Do you want me to continue to, put out these videos? Do you want me to continue to promote these messages? And, I keep getting a yes, 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 continue with this journey, continue with this path. And that's really the main reason why I do anything that I do in life, is because I check in with spirit. Spirit, is this in alignment with what I'm supposed to do? Hi, Diane, on this physical plane, so I ask you to, let me know if there's something that I might have said or done, or, that you don't necessarily agree with, because I am very open. I keep my heart and mind open to change, to listening to others. One of the things that I'm learning in my journey is to deep listen to what others are saying, and try to see everything from other people's perspective. Try to see it from all angles, all perspective. Hi, Francois, Franciel. Franciel, what a beautiful name. So this session, this live session, is really an opportunity for you to ask me any questions live, because I know in my videos I just kind of recorded and there's no opportunity to ask questions. So ask me any questions that you have in your heart or mind that you've wanted to ask me. And one of the things that I'm going to be touching upon in this video is the two videos that I did in the past about the virtualization. I did a guided meditation on virtualization, and I did a video about the power of using virtualization as a manifesting tool. And that is one of the topics that I really want to talk about here, because I think that this is such a powerful tool for manifestation. Hi, Yagamai. Yagamai, did I say that name correctly? Did I say your name correctly? If I haven't said your name correctly, please just let me know. So again, ask me any questions at any time. That's what I'm here for. So going back to this virtualization, well, before I go into virtualization, let me make a couple of announcements. In the Om Heals Clubhouse room, Om Heals is a new company that I started with my business partner, where we're going to match make energy healers with users. And on Sundays, tomorrow, on Sundays at 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern time, we interview a different energy healer. So come on, you can ask any questions that you have for us or the energy healer. If you're interested in energy healing to support your mind, body, soul, spirit. And on Tuesday nights in Clubhouse, in the Yin and Yang living room, on Tuesday nights in the Yin and Yang living room at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time, we have the group healing consciousness meditation, where we send healing to an individual that's looking for some healing in their life, whether it's health, money, career, business, relationships. And everybody in the room sends that intention healing to that individual. And as we heal that individual, we actually heal ourselves. Hi, Sylvia. I haven't seen you in a long time. Hi, Ella. Ella, you've heard that about the 8th of August being a great day for manifestation. I have to look in the calendar. Tomorrow is August 8th. I would have to look into the calendar. See, my business partner and I actually look at the energetic calendar, and the days when the energy is not so good, we don't sign any contracts. We only sign contracts during the day that it's good. And so when it's positive energy. So I have to look in the calendar to see if tomorrow is a good day for manifestation. I think every day is a good day for manifestation if you're in the right flow, if you're in the flow of yourself and in flow with the universe. But there are some days that will give you a little bit more leverage. Now, I think that the days that I find very powerful are the days with the full moon, the new moon days, because the energy is shifting, the energy is changing. Now, when people, there's this myth about negative energy. Negative energy doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad energy. What it means is that the energy is so heightened, it's so intense that many of us are not able to hold the space, because it's like the sun. When you look at the sun and the sun is shining its light right in front of you, and it's so bright that you have to turn away. Well, that's what negative energy really is. It's really more of a very heightened energy where it's so strong that you have to you don't know how to handle it. You get anxious, you get stressed, because the energy is so powerful. And that's what really negative energy days are all about. So there was a period this week for about 3 weeks where the energy was probably the worst. We've come over that 3 weeks was the most heightened. And those 3 weeks, I couldn't even feel, I couldn't even sleep though. There were like 5 days straight during that 3-week period where I couldn't even sleep. I couldn't even sleep for 1 day. So that's what that really means. It's that the energy is so strong, it's so powerful that you don't know how to handle it. It's like kind of like that Kundalini energy. You know how there's been many reports that when people have experienced the Kundalini energy, the energy that comes through your root chakra and goes all the way up, right? The base of your root chakra is this latent energy called Kundalini. And when it gets activated, especially by accident, when people are not ready for that Kundalini energy, when they're not ready for it, and they experience it by accident, they get depressed. They feel suicidal. They go through these really, really deep negative emotions. And it's not that the Kundalini energy is, in and of itself is a bad energy. It's that the energy is so powerful that the people who experience that Kundalini energy by accident, they do not know how to handle it. It's like a shock to your system. So with the Kundalini energy, when it arises and you don't expect it, there's a pretty good chance that you may not handle it well. And I've seen people that get very depressed. They get almost suicidal because this Kundalini energy was activated. Hi, Nancy. Hi, Cosmic. Hi, Diane. Okay, so Nancy has a question. Hello, how can I control my negative thoughts? I lost so much due to it. Let that control me instead. Okay. So Nancy asks a very good fundamental question. How can I control my negative thoughts? Now, this is what we call practice. Controlling your negative thoughts is all about practice, right? Practice makes perfect. The first thing is to have an awareness of your thoughts. Have an absolute awareness. Just be noticing what you're thinking. That's number one. Because oftentimes, and I've experienced it in my own life, is that I have negative thoughts. In the past, years ago, I would have negative thoughts and I wouldn't have an awareness of it because it was just a default programming. It was just like a reaction. The first default reaction would have negative thinking, and that's most of us. So the first thing I had to do is step back and just have an awareness of it. Awareness of what I am saying to myself and what I am saying to the universe. What you say to yourself is far more important than what you say to others. So just having awareness of what I am saying is the first step. So one of the exercises that Nancy, that you could do is you could go into meditation for 5 minutes, right? Close your eyes and just notice. This is a training for your awareness. Notice what thoughts keep coming in. Notice what thoughts, and don't judge it. Just notice. Keep noticing, because you want to train that awareness to have that negative thought. Number one, that's a way to train to start having an awareness of your mind, is to go into a meditation. It could be a 5-minute exercise each day. Just notice the thoughts that are coming in, right? And then the next step is, as you're moving through the day, as you're moving, as these thoughts are coming in, and you notice that a thought is negative, that it does not serve you, like you notice a thought like, I can't do this, which you really can. I can't do this is just a conditioned, limited belief, but you can do it. You can do whatever your heart desires. So if you notice that, one of the tools is to say, cancel, cancel. So if you have a thought, you have an awareness, I can't do that. You say to yourself, cancel, cancel. And then you replace it with a thought that is your truth, which is, I can do whatever my heart desires. Because we all have infinite potential to be able to do anything that our heart desires. That's the truth. That's the true nature of who we are. And that takes training, because you've got these negative thoughts. Some of these negative thoughts are really deeply rooted in that subconscious mind, like deeply rooted. And if it's deeply rooted in your subconscious mind, it's not going to be overnight, right? It takes training. It takes training. It takes practice. But that's an exercise to do constantly. And also, I do a lot of mantras. Like when I walk my dog, that's an opportunity for me to do mantras to empower myself, mantras to say, I say, Moon, you're worthy. Moon, you're a perfect image of God. Moon, you are, you can do this. Moon, the universe has your back. Moon, you are unconditionally worthy. Moon, you are unconditionally loved. Just even that practice of the mantra, like you could be doing the dishes and you could be saying those things to yourself. And as you keep saying those mantras over and over again, you're retraining that subconscious mind. You're reprogramming it. And that's what we have to do, is we have to reprogram that subconscious mind, because it is so deep. Because we've been programmed since we were in our mother's womb. We've been programmed from our past life traumas. We've been programmed from traumas that we've inherited through our ancestors. We have so much stuff that's been programmed to us in this life, in past lives, in inherited lives. So it takes training and practice. That's what it is. It's all about training and practice. And so one of the things that I wanted to discuss today was about the tool, the virtualization tool. My business coach gave me this tool, and I am such a huge fan of it. He told me, he said, this is, and go look at those videos. I talked about this in the last 2 videos, and the last video was a guided meditation for virtualization. So one of the things that he said to me when I started my work with him was, he said, Moon, you cannot manifest what you do not feel safe around. It's so powerful. You cannot manifest what you do not feel safe around. And so him knowing my childhood trauma, that I didn't feel safe with my father, then who am I going to feel safe with, right? So one of the things he said is to virtualize, in order to retrain that subconscious mind, because your subconscious mind is trying to keep you safe always. And it's just doing your job. So now when I run into situations and I don't feel safe, when there's no reason to feel any fear, right? There are situations that I go in and all of a sudden I go into the worst case scenario, right? That's what a lot of us do. We go into the default worst case scenario in our mind when there's no threat right now, right? But we go into that worst case scenario. And so one of the things that he gave me was this virtualization tool. He says, Moon, use this virtualization tool where you're going to use every sense, the sense of seeing, the sense of smelling, the sense of tasting, the sense of hearing, the sense of touching, feeling. You're going to use every sense, and in a scenario where you start to feel safe, or the scenario that you want to manifest. So let's say you want to manifest a great job. You want to manifest an amazing job. You see yourself in that job, you know, whether it's in the new office, whether you're talking to your coworkers, whether you're, you know, typing on your computer, you're going to manifest, you're going to virtualize that scenario in your mind. And then you're going to virtualize with every sense that you have, the sense of seeing, the sense of tasting, the sense of smelling, the sense of hearing, the sense of feeling in that virtualization scenario. So if you're in that dream job, you could use your eyes to see what's on your desk. You can open the drawers and you could feel opening the drawers. You're going to hear what's happening in that office. You're going to hear maybe your coworkers speaking. You're going to hear the typing of the keyboard. Then you go to your sense of smell. What do you smell in that virtualization scenario? Maybe you smell, you know, a cup of coffee being made in the office, you know, or you can smell, you know, some chemical that the cleaning lady used, you know, to clean the office. Then you're going to, you know, use the sense of taste. What can you taste in that virtualization scenario? Maybe you can taste the cold air of the AC coming, the central AC coming in. What can you now feel? You could feel the keyboard. You could feel, you know, your desk. You could feel using a pen. What can you could feel your body on your desk, a chair. So you want to imagine and virtualize with every set, and you want to get nitty gritty. That's where it becomes very powerful, is to really explore that scenario, even with the stuff that you think is mundane, like holding the pen, like literally, what does this pen feel like while I'm in that dream job? You know, what does the keyboard feel like while I'm in that dream? Because then it becomes so real in your mind, and your mind cannot distinguish between what's out there and what's happening out there. The only thing that the mind could register is what's happening in here. So if you come in with that virtualization, that's what the subconscious mind is recording. That's what the subconscious mind is only recording, what's in here. It doesn't make a difference. It doesn't differentiate what's happening in the external world. It only can record what's happening in here. So once you start virtualizing in here, that's what the subconscious mind is recording. And now you're starting to feel safe in the situation. And when you start to feel safe, that's when you can start to manifest. And so this is a real great tool for Nancy, even your negative thoughts. If you have negative thoughts, let's say about people in your life, then start virtualizing a situation where you can trust people in your life. Virtualize anything in your life that you don't feel safe around. And so this is such a powerful tool. I highly, highly, highly encourage every one of you to use it. It is so powerful. and you will see that the universe will start to match what is happening in your subconscious mind. So virtually, and I actually released a guided meditation for that virtualization. So it's on my meditation playlist. So you have that resource. I gave you that resource because I thought it was such a powerful, powerful manifestational tool, virtualization. Diane, was that energy from the solar storm? Oh God, that's a good question. You mean the heavy energy from the 3 weeks? I'm not sure. Possibly. I really don't know the origin of why the energy was so heavy. But I like this thing about the solar storm. I'm going to look it up. Do you know more about the solar storm? That's the first time I've ever heard of that solar storm. But I like that languaging because it's like the sun is so powerful that it could almost can feel like it's wreaking havoc on us. So that's an interesting terminology, solar storm. I'm going to research that more. Cosmic visions. Oh, I'm glad that helped you. Ella, do you believe everything happens for a reason? Yes. Ella, yes, I do. Why? Because the reason why, and this is a really great, profound question, and I think everybody would have a different take on this, right? Everybody. And I respect other people's opinions, even if they disagree with me. I totally respect it. But the reason why I believe that everything happens for a reason is because in order for this entire universe to have created the way it creates, I'm talking about not just our planet, but I'm talking about our galaxy. You know how enormous our galaxy is? And then we have galaxies beyond this galaxies. We're talking about billions of galaxies beyond this galaxy that we live in. So just think about how huge this universe is. It is so massive. It is so massive. And so if you look at the way the universe operates, the ocean has infinite wisdom, right? It knows exactly what to do. There's an ebb and flow to that ocean. The moon, the way, when it comes up, there's an infinite intelligence about the moon. The sun just keeps on putting out this infinite energy, right? And it never stops. And we don't charge the sun. Do we ever charge the sun? Do we ever have to give give electrical charge to the sun so the sun can continue to operate like we have to do with our cell phone? We have to charge it. We never give the sun energy, right? We never, like we have to give gas to our car, or we have to give electricity to our car for our car to continue to run. But do we ever give the sun energy? The sun gives us energy, right? That, and the way the way our Earth orbits, that perfection of the orbit, it orbits around the sun perfectly. I think it's orbit around the sun. Yes, I'm not a physicist, but you know how the Earth just orbits in perfect of physical manifestation. Look at our Amazon, look at our rivers, look at our mountains, look at the flowers, look at the trees. They all have infinite wisdom. The tree knows exactly what to do. The ocean knows exactly what to do. Your body, look at your body, look at the heart, your lungs. It has infinite wisdom, right? And so because everything is operated by this infinite intelligence, right? Because if our body didn't have infinite intelligence, it wouldn't know right now to work. The heart is beating, the nervous system is working, the kidneys is working, right? It wouldn't know how to do that without that infinite intelligence. And so what it is that there's a yin and yang living cause and effect to everything. And so when this happens, then this happens. There's a cause and effect. And but that cause and effect happens in order to balance everything, right? So when you do bad to somebody, then that badness comes back to you, because there's that cause and effect that you have to learn a lesson from that behavior. And so the reason why everything happens for a reason is the universe, when we encounter situations in our lives, everything is being operated by this infinite intelligence that governs the entire universe, not just our lives, but the entire universe, whether it's the tree, whether it's the ocean, but it also governs our lives because we are part and parcel of this universal force, right? Because if it wasn't for that God energy, we would not be here. The ocean would not be here, right? The trees would not be here. The plants, the Amazon River, the rivers, they wouldn't be here without that God energy. We are part of that God energy. That's why we're here. And so what it is that when things show up in our lives, when things show up, whether it's a good situation or negative situation, what we call negative, I call it opportunity situation. The reason why the universe is showing us that is because it's telling us that we need to make, if it's a situation that we do not desire, the universe is telling us that we need to make a shift in the inner world here, that we are here to learn lessons. Everything is about learning a lesson. And the reason why that happened to us, and we've encountered that situation or that person, is because we've got to learn a lesson from it for the expansion and growth of our soul. And so the universe in its infinite wisdom knows how to balance all of that stuff and knows that this person needs to have this situation in their life to learn a lesson. Now, some people would say, oh my God, you're saying that I have brought that onto myself? Yes, in essence, we have. It's hard to stomach that. It's hard to stomach that we would intentionally bring in situations that we do not desire. It's not conscious decision that we made. It's a decision unconsciously based on our deepest soul that we've got to learn some lesson from this experience. And there's a karmic lesson to be learned from certain people that we meet in the world. And that's why it came into our experience, because there's a lesson to be learned in everything. And the universe in its infinite wisdom knows what to give us, even though we may not consciously have intended it, or that we don't desire, that it's inconvenient. The universe knows better. God knows better. God has the bigger picture. And so it brings us situations and people into our lives for that very reason. And therefore, and I gave a whole long-winded answer for this. This is why everything happens for a reason, because it's about expansion and growth. And we come into this physical form to learn to go through these physical experiences, to have like a huge classroom for the expansion and growth. That's what it's about. And that's why everything happens for a reason. It happens for a higher consciousness reason. It happens for the expansion and growth of our soul. That's why everything happens. So when we have situations that we do not desire in our life, rather than having resistant energy to it, rather than being defensive about why that person showed up so angry, why that person showed up without compassion, why that person showed up, what you would call negative, instead of being defensive about that, we have to look inside and say, this has shown up in our movie because the universe is trying to tell us that we've got to make some shift in the inner world here. And when we make that shift, it's giving us a message. The universe is so loving that it gives us this message that it's telling us you have something that you've got to work on the inside. And when you work on that on the inside, where you shift it or you release it to the universe, you no longer hold on to that anger, the resentment. You no longer hold on to those things. Then the universe will present to you different situations, different people in your life, because you've learned that lesson and now you transcend to the next level. And that's why everything happens for a reason. Even if it seems random, it's not, in my opinion, it's not random. It's just the infinite wisdom of the universe doing its infinite wisdom stuff that it does. that we don't necessarily understand it because we're in the picture. We're in the picture. So if you're in the picture, you can't see the bigger picture, but the divine sees the bigger picture. And that's why it presents to us the people, the situations that it does. It's for us to learn these lessons for the expansion and growth. And that's why everything happens for a reason. So thank you for that beautiful question, Ella. It's such a powerful question. Yagamai, okay. Does personality comes from subconscious mind? That's a really good question. You know, I haven't thought about that. Again, like I said, I learn from you. I learn from you because you guys give me these amazing questions, amazing comments that I haven't even thought of. That's a really good question. My gut instinct is to say, not necessarily. That's my gut instinct. That's my gut instincts without really having reflected on this question. This is a really good question. Is because what it is that I think there's an energetic blueprint to each one of us. And if you've ever studied human design, you will see how energy flows through you. That's what human design is all about. Human design is how energy is your energetic blueprint. How does energy flow through Nancy? How does energy flow through Ella? How does energy flow through Diane? How does energy flow through Cosmic Visions? And the way this energy flows through you is unique to each and every one of us. And that the way that energy flows through you does not change. What your subconscious, and therefore, the way that energy flows through you, to me, determines your personality. So I have two videos about human design. Go check it out. That to me determines really your personality, because your energetic blueprint is the truth of who you are. It's the truth of who Nancy is. It's the truth of who Yagamai is. It's the truth of who Rocky is, Ella, Cosmic. That energetic blueprint is unique to each and every one of us. And that's the truth of who we are. Now, what it is the subconscious mind is recording information, constantly recording information that we take in from the external world. So if our parents, as a baby, our parents said, you're not good enough, your subconscious mind is just recording that stuff. It's recording all of that stuff. And then once you record it so deeply, it becomes a belief. And when it becomes a belief, that's how you start to behave. But that belief is not the truth of who you are. You have an energetic blueprint. That's your truth. So that energetic blueprint is really, to me, is the personality. And the subconscious mind is just recording things. And so as the subconscious mind records these beliefs that do not serve us, we move away from our true personality. We move away from our truth. And I'm associating personality with truth. Maybe that's the wrong way to associate it, but that's how I'm associating. I'm associating personality with truth. Who are you really? What is your energetic blueprint? And so when we record these subconscious mind limiting belief things that do not serve us, like our parents say, you can't do that. Society says, you can't do that. We'll keep recording that, but that's not true. We can do it. Our energetic blueprint says, this is who you are, and you can accomplish these things. But that subconscious mind records that limited belief, and then we hold on to that limited belief for what? 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. And so then we go off our path, right? We don't operate based on our truth. We operate based on the conditioned beliefs that society has imposed on us. And so when we operate based on what society has imposed on us, we're not living in our energetic blueprint, and therefore we are not living in our truth, right? And that's when we feel frustrated. Why do we feel frustrated? We'll feel frustrated because we know deep inside what our truth is. We can feel it energetically, but we're not living that life, right? We're living a different life. We have a job that we don't like. And that's not really who we are. We have a relationship that we don't really like, and that's not who we really are, right? Because of all the conditioning, we're living by the conditioned beliefs. So personality, I think, comes really from that energetic blueprint of who we are. And go check out those two human design videos that show you that you have an energetic blueprint. And if you start to align yourself with that energetic blueprint to be more of who Rocky really is, who Yagamai who really is, who Nancy really is, who Marva really is, then you will see that you will start to live in your flow. And when you live in your flow, then things will just drop on your lap. Because you're living in the flow with the universe. And when you live in the flow with the universe, synchronicities will be shown to you more and more. And you will be attracting the people and situations like a moth to a light, moth to fire. You'll be just attracting. And so that's how I can answer that question, and I answered that on the fly here without having any reflection. But it was a very interesting question. So thank you. You're welcome, Nancy. Hello, Marva. Okay, and Betty. I live in constant fear of bad happenings. How can I breathe free and see good in future? Yes. First of all, Betty, I want to say that I feel you. I feel you, because this pandemic has such heightened energies, right? The pandemic, the social unrest, the wars, all the climate change, all this stuff is happening around us, right? And it feels like you might be a little empathic even, perhaps. What it is that, a lot of the fear that we are feeling, especially if you're an empath, like I'm an empath, is that it's not even our fear. It's the fear that we've empathically taken on from the world, from the people around us, and this heavy energy in the world of this pandemic, right? All the fear, right? The fear that this virus is never going away, the fear of, not having certainty about our job or our sense of security, right? There's so many fears, and a lot of that fear we're actually taking on from other people. We're taking on from the planet. A lot of it is just not even ours. And I know that it's hard to distinguish. It's like, because I get into a lot of anxious mode myself, especially these days, and I have to do a lot of exercise. So one of the breathing techniques that I like to do is the Tonglen. The Tonglen breathing. So when I start feeling some anxious, I stop everything and I close my eyes and I focus on my breath. And what I do is, Tonglen is all about you breathe in that fear, and then you breathe out peace, serenity. Breathe in that fear, and you breathe out that peace and serenity. And this breath, and then what I say to myself is, whose fear, this fear does not belong to me. Who does it belong to? I say that constantly. This emotion does not belong to me. Who does it belong to? And I send it back to the person it belongs to. I send it right back. I do this many times. I constantly do this. So, and Betty, you have to first understand that the fear that you're experiencing may not even be your own. It could be just the fear from the planet. And so these are two simple tips, is to do the Tonglen breath, the breathing, and then also say in your mind, this is not my emotion. Who does it belong to? I send it back to the sender. I do this constantly. And just doing that Tonglen breath helps me so much, because my fear starts to subside. Just doing that Tonglen breath. So I have, so those are two simple things that you could use to even immediately manage your fear. Immediately manage your fear. Then seeing about the good in the future, I talked earlier, I think it was Nancy that wanted to know about how do I get rid of these negative thoughts? So what I would suggest, instead of repeating all that I said before, why don't you, after this live session, it'll be on my YouTube channel, watch the beginning of the session where Nancy asks me that similar question as you. And I have a process that I do for that, to be able to retrain that subconscious mind to see good in the future, to stop with all this negative talk, negative thoughts in our mind. So go and watch that, because I don't want to repeat. It was like a 10-15 minute talk that I did. Jade. Hi, Jade. How are you? Shadow work is good, because if we don't learn our lessons from these bad things, it will continue to repeat until we do. Yep. That is so right. Jade is so right. Because the thing is that the shadow work is what you want to do is, when that shadow comes in, you're looking for the lesson. You're looking for, what is it? The shadow is presented to us so we can bring in the light, because without the shadow, there would be no light, right? So the shadow is our opportunity to bring in the light. And that's why the shadows become so important in our lives. It's not a bad thing. As Jay put, it's a quotation. It's not a bad thing. It's our opportunity to bring in the light, because without the shadow, we would not have the light. You can't have the yin without the yang. You can't have the yang without the yin. So you can't have light without shadow. So that's what the shadow is teaching us. It's an opportunity for us to bring in the light. How can we bring in the light more? So that's why what Jade said was so profound. And thank you so much, Jade, for reminding us about our shadow work. The shadow work is invaluable. It teaches us how to bring the light. It teaches us how do we get closer to the light. That's why we're here. We're here to reveal, to live in our flow, to live in Ella's flow, to live in Jade's flow, to live in Marva's flow, to live in Nancy's flow. We're here to live in our flow, to shine that light, broadcast that light, and become closer to the divine light. That's what we're here for. That's what we're here for. And so the shadow is to teach us how to become closer to the light. Is to teach us, are we going to choose love over fear? Are we going to choose faith over doubt? What are we going to choose? The shadow is giving us our opportunities. Which way are we going to go? What are we going to choose? Are we going to choose the light over darkness? Are we going to choose fear? Or are we going to choose love over fear? What are we going to choose? And the shadow, it keeps on giving us an opportunity to choose love, to choose the light. And when we start choosing love, light constantly, we are expanding, we are transcending, we are evolving, we're transmuting to a higher consciousness level, and we're moving towards the light. And then we're moving towards expansion and growth of our soul. That's what it's all about. Oh, and Betty, you are an empath. Yup. You know, I could feel it. I can already feel that you are an empath. You know, like I said, I'm empathic myself. I'm empathic 3 ways, actually. That's what my business coach is. He says, Moon, you're not just empathic one, because, you know, I always thought empaths were just emotional empaths. But no, empath is anytime you take on other people's whatever. So I'm empathically here because my whole head and ajna center is completely open. And so I take on other people's thoughts. So I'm empathic here. I'm empathic emotionally because my emotional center is completely open. And I take on other people's physical pain, like health issues, health pains, because my health center, the spleen center, is completely open. So I'm actually empathic 3 ways. Now it has its yin and yang. It's yin. It has its yin and yang. There's good aspects of being an empath. And then there's aspects that you might call negative, because when you start taking in too many of this negative energy and you hold on to it, now it becomes a real problem. It's going to damage your health. So as an empath, we have to learn to empower ourselves, not to hold on to these energies that do not serve us. And that's one of the things about being an empath, is that we have to utilize all of these tools to not hold on to this, what you call negative energy, to release it and let it go. And then you become more of an empowered empath. So that's something that I'm learning. I keep learning it. It's a journey. It's a lifelong journey as an empath. Yagamai. Oh, you're welcome about the energetic blueprint. Yeah, I have 2 videos, part 1, part 2 about human design. And it's all about energetic blueprint. So Maritza, you're welcome, Maritza. Cosmic, thank you. Okay, let's see what other, hi, Samara, welcome. Oh, you're welcome. I'm glad you're receiving some wisdoms in this live stream. I'm so far from being a wise person. Maritza, that's what's happening collectively. Yes. Yes, we are collectively in trauma. Right now, we are going through collective trauma with this pandemic, with the wars, with this, with that. So we are all feeling, and we are all empathically in some ways, even if we're not necessarily considered an empath, we are all at some level empathically taking on the energies of this planet, what's happening, the heavy energies, all of us in some fashion. Some of us will be taking on it more. As empaths, we're going to take on it a lot more. But we all are at some level taking on the energies of the planet. And it's heavy, and we're going through a lot. I get it. So trust me, it's been, I have to do meditations, and I have to do mini meditations throughout the day, and I have to stop. Like this morning, I don't know, all of a sudden I felt anxious I don't know what it was. I don't even consciously know what it is. I literally I sat on my bed, and I closed my eyes, and I did some breathing exercises, and I just stared down. I just stared down at my fear. My fear usually manifests right here in my chest. And I just stared it down. I just observed it. I didn't judge it. I just kept on observing it. And as I kept on observing it, you could tell my body was resolving. It was just letting it run through, as opposed to holding on to it. You're letting it run through. And that's really important. When you feel anxious or fear, stop everything. Don't try to power through any work. Power through work is not good, because you're resisting something and you're not allowing it to flow through you. You want that energy to flow through you. You don't want to hold on to that energy, because if you keep holding on to it, you're going to create disease in your body. And so when you stop and you become present with that emotion, then you allow your body to be able to process it naturally, the way it knows how to do, and you allow it to move on. You could also imagine a white light coming in, or some beautiful light coming in through your chakra, and just seeing that energy move through, and then seeing like a cord come in, a white light of cord come in through your chakra, and then, move that energy back into Mother Earth, Gaia. And I do that a lot. When I close out a meditation, I imagine a light coming through down, running through my chakra, and then coming through all over my body, running through the chakra, filtering all over my body, cleansing my body, going down my heart chakra, going, seeing that light just filter all over to my solar plexus, my sacral, my root. And then I see the cord going down into Mother Earth, Gaia, taking it, all that energy that does not serve me, because Gaia will take it on, because Mother Earth loves us. So do that. Eliana. Hi, Eliana. That's what is being presented in my life constantly. It's asking those questions. Is it my choice? Okay, Eliana, is that a question? I'm not sure. But if you have a question, you're saying I resonate. Okay, great. You resonate. Love yourself. Lionsgate portal. About Lionsgate portal. I haven't heard about it's so weird, because you're talking about Lionsgate portal. There's a portal to a higher consciousness through the Lionsgate. Is that what you mean? Love yourself. Is that the question? I think there are many portals to higher consciousness, and I've never necessarily heard of the Lionsgate. but I suspect that this is a portal to a higher consciousness realm. So if you would clarify that more, what the question really is, I would appreciate it. Yes, cosmic visions. Yeah, staying grounded. Absolutely. That's why I do that chord, because at the end of the meditation is to ground myself. And actually, a lot of empaths, that's one of the most important things that we could do for ourselves, is to ground ourselves. And that visualizing that light come in and like a cord and going to Mother Earth to really ground ourselves is important. Ileana, I am like you. I feel the thoughts and emotions and pain. I'm working on empowering. Yes, I did a video with Wendy DeRosa. We recorded it and I released it. Wendy DeRosa is an incredible energy healer, empath. She's the founder of School of Intuitive Studies, and she has a book called The Empowered Empath. And that book, if you are very empathic, that book gives you tools to empower yourself as an empath, as opposed to disempower yourself. So go check out that video. It's on my YouTube channel, and it's a 88 Lionsgate portal. Yes. Wow. Yeah. Okay. So August 8th is the Lionsgate portal. Okay. So, wow. So there's a portal. You're saying there's this portal tomorrow. That's amazing. Wow. Well, then this portal could be, I think tomorrow, I have to check the energy calendar to see if tomorrow is a positive energy or negative energy day. Wow. So what are some of the things that you guys are going to be doing to take advantage of this August 8th portal? Is there some, can you provide some tips? Okay. Oh, tomorrow's the new moon. Oh, right. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yes, absolutely. That's why I mentioned that before about the new moon and the, that to take advantage of the new moon, because it's opening another portal. It's a new energy that's coming in. So I like to do certain during the new moons and the new moon and the full moon. I like to do a special prayer and meditation where I light up a candle. I like to do certain rituals around the new moon just to leverage the power of those energies. And so I really, really like to do that. So I do like to take advantage of those days. Marva, as an empath, I'm learning to not hold on to other people's energy as well. Too much of a listener to everyone's life and what they are dealing with. Let's answering the phone. Marva, you've got it right. You've got it right. Let's answering the phone. You know what? The thing is that there are people that will take advantage of empaths because they know that you will just sit there and listen. And that's where we have to have boundaries. You know, the other thing that I like to do is when I know, like, I'm going to go to Portugal end of August and I don't even have a vaccine. Can you believe this? But I asked Spirit, I said, Spirit, do you want me to go? Do you want me to go? And the Spirit was like, yes. So that's why I'm going. I'm going because, and so one of the things that I know that I have to protect, I'm going to obviously wear masks and all that stuff and carry hand sanitizers with me and be really mindful, right? But one of the things that I'm going to use is an energetic shield. I'm going to put an energetic shield around me, you know, to protect myself, you know, especially as an empath, you know, you've got to put the shield around yourself to protect yourself from all this, from all the energies of other people that you have no control over. So I think less answering the phone is a really great idea, you know. Okay, Cosmic, yes, look through my channel. Maritza, right. I love that. Set intentions tomorrow. Absolutely. If you've got a portal happening, if you've got the new moon happening, set your intentions, set it. Do like a little meditation or prayer, light up some incense, candles, do a meditation and set your intentions very clearly. It's a great day for that. Oh, I'm so sorry. I've got an itch over here. So sorry. Oh, Jade. Yes, I did a video on Ho'oponopono. Is that more for forgiving others or self? Yes, Ho'oponopono is the premise of Ho'oponopono is about forgiving yourself. And therefore, because you've forgiven yourself, you've forgiven others around you, and the other people will show up differently. So Ho'oponopono is really like law of attraction. It's like what shows up in your outer world is really a reflection of your inner world. So this is the greatest story about Ho'oponopono is Dr. Hugh Len was one of the leading Ho'oponopono teacher in Hawaii. And he was, and this, I say this in my Ho'oponopono video, he was hired by this criminal insanity hospital in Hawaii. And these were insanity hospital for the criminals. I mean, people who raped and did all these crimes, and they were insane, and they were in this hospital, and the hospital had such negative energy. I mean, they couldn't even keep staff for even a week or 2 weeks because everybody would leave because it was, and the peels of the walls were coming down. It was a horrible place to work. And they hired him to be like the director of this insane hospital. And you know what he did? He practiced Ho'oponopono on himself and the patients. What he did was he had already practiced Ho'oponopono for many years before he had taken on this job. And so what he would do is he would sit in his office at the insane hospital, and he would never see the patients. He would never see the patients. He literally, every patient had a folder of their history of what their crime was. And he would read the history of their crime. And as he would read the history of the patient's crime, things would come up for him. Things would come up for him internally. And so then he would ask, the conscious mind would ask the subconscious mind to help me release this thing that is coming up for him. And then the subconscious mind will communicate with the higher conscious mind, the superconscious mind, which will communicate with the divine. And the divine would release that from him and the person that he's sharing with. And he did this. This is all he did. He never saw the patients. And do you know that after a couple of months later, and this is a true story, because the staff in the hospital reported this, each one got discharged one by one. These are people that nobody could help. Each person got discharged one by one. Because the premise of Ho'oponopono is the reason why any external situation shows up is because you're sharing something with that person. So if that person shows up angry, the reason why that person shows up angry is because you're sharing with that person. So it's now our responsibility to release it from ourselves. And when we release it from ourselves, then we release it from the other person. So it's all about making the inner shift and releasing in here so that your external world will show up differently. And that's what Ho'oponopono. So yes, so as you forgive yourself, you're forgiving. So there's a big component to Ho'opono about forgiveness. As you're forgiving yourself, you're actually forgiving others. And so there is a big forgiving component to Ho'oponopono. How do you put an energetic shield? Okay, so this is the last question because it's that I'm going to be able to answer. But it's a great question. There's different ways. One of the ways is, this is a simple way that a lot of people do it, and I like to do it, is that I literally imagine a light coming from the divine. Everything has to come from source energy, right? So it's got to come from the divine. This energy has to come from the divine. And so I imagine the divine light coming through me, running through all of my chakras, running through every, cleansing everything, cleansing, going back down to Mother Earth, like a rope of energetic light, going back down to Mother Earth, Gaia, and Mother Earth will cleanse all of that energy, anything negative in that light. And then I imagine that light coming back up from Mother Earth, Gaia, and just wrapping around me like a ball, like an energetic ball around me, all around this ball. And then what you do is, once that energetic ball is around you, you zip it up, you zip it. That's a very quick thing that you could do. There's other things, but that's a very quick one. You zip it up. And so you've got this energetic shield around you. And so as you move through the day, you're not taking in the energies of other people, that you're protecting yourself. So is it by prayer? Yes. You can also ask the God, the universe, to please protect me, protect me. But yes, it's all through meditation, prayer. You can also, I ask the spirit to protect me all the time. I said, thank you for protecting me, continue your protection. And thank you for removing situations and people that do not serve the highest good of myself, highest good of humanity, highest good of the planet. There's a great movie on Netflix, Ho'oponopono. Okay, go check that out. Yeah. Okay, great. Hi, Tanisha. Okay, so thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to be going to Portugal between August 25th and September 4th. And when I get back, I'm going to do another live session. So I just want to let you know that tomorrow we're doing the Om Heals Clubhouse, where every week we interview energy healer. Tomorrow we're going to interview an energy healer named Paula Anderson, who's all about super conscious coding. And I'll put the links to that room tomorrow. And then Tuesday evening at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time, in the Yin and Yang Living Clubhouse room, we're going to do the group consciousness healing meditation, where we all send healing to an individual. And as we heal that individual, our fellow human, we heal ourselves. So join us for those 2 sessions on Clubhouse. So let's go close out with a prayer now. Let's set our intention to the universe and to the divine. Dear God, dear spirit guides, dear ascended masters, angels, spirit guides, thank you so much for allowing us to open this beautiful, beautiful space, and to allow those who are ready to receive the message that you want me to convey to our listeners, and our viewers. We're so grateful that you are awakening each and every one of us and everybody in this room to our truth, and that we can surrender and release all doubt, all fear, all worries, knowing that you have infinite wisdom, infinite ways to make all things happen, and that you are shining our light on each one of our paths, so that we can follow that breadcrumb on our path, on our soul's path, and we could recondition our subconscious mind and release any limiting beliefs that do not serve us, that do not serve our planet, that do not serve humanity. So we thank you so much for allowing us to experience these physical opportunities, as I will call them, opportunities to learn lessons for the expansion and growth of our eternal truth, of our eternal consciousness. So we thank you so much. And we thank you so much for continuing to remove people and situations that do not serve the highest good of ourselves and others, and this of humanity and the planet. And we ask you to continue to guide us and send us messages, and allow us to come home to our soul. Allow us, each one of us, to understand our truth and live in our truth, live in our soul's path, so we may each one of us shine our beautiful light and broadcast it out into the universe, because we know that we are eternal beings, and that we are here to serve as your pencil, as your channeler for the work of light, that we are here for a higher purpose, and each and every one of us is equally valid, equally worthy, unconditionally loved, and unconditionally worthy to do the work, the higher purpose work that we are meant to do here for the expansion and growth of our souls. So thank you so much, God, continuing to bless us, nourish us, nurture us, keep us healthy, keep us safe, keep us abundant in all areas. We're so grateful, and that we are so grateful for your continued support, your continued protection, and most importantly, your continued unconditional love. Thank you. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. So we'll see you again soon. After September 4th, I will announce another live session. Much love and blessings to all of you guys. Have a beautiful weekend wherever you are in the world. Bye.